Hey everybody, Clinton here with Oval Window Racing. I'm playing in the parts washer here. Let me show you. There we go. And what I've got here is a 69 millimeter V-dub air-cooled crank. It's cross-drilled. I'll show you that here in a minute. But I'm getting it ready to take up to the machine shop to have it polished and matched to the flywheel for 8 dowel. You know, a little extra strength for horsepower. But what I wanted to show you guys today here is kind of how to check the oil galleys and make sure they're not plugged, because these things are, you know, up to 40 years old and you never know where they've been sitting and what's been crawling inside of them. So it's always best to check this, and then of course when you bring it back from the machine shop to do it again. But here, let me show you what I got going on here. All right, what I mentioned here is a 69 millimeter crank. It's just a stock crank, and you know, they come nicely forged from the factory. It is cross-drilled, so that means it's a newer dual-port crank, and surprisingly, when they go to weld these up for stroker cranks, you know, they'll actually weld these journals up and return them so they got more stroke. They prefer to run the older cranks that are not cross-drilled. I guess they're stronger. But this is a pretty easy check. You have your 3 main bearings, which is 1, 2, and 3. This is where the oil comes into the crank. So we're just going to run the parts washer through the bottom here, and I can see it's coming out the bottom, but I'm just going to use my finger to plug it. Now I can see it's coming out the bottom of the rod bearing here, and we're just going to plug that, and it's coming nice and strongly out of the rod bearing there. Okay, number 1 here feeds, that'd be number 2 rod bearing. And we're coming to the center main, do the same thing, except for it's a little different here. I can see it's coming out the bottom. We're going to plug the bottom, and then we're going to plug the bottom of both of these rod bearings. And we can see that the oil is coming out, or parts washer, mineral spirits is coming out of those. Now the rear main, again, we're going to feed it, plug the bottom here, and then plug the bottom over here. Boom. And this should be rod bearing number 3, I believe. Then we'll flip it over and do it all over again, just to double check. Insert, plug, plug. Nice. Insert, plug, and plug. I'm going to plug over here too. There we go. Yeah. Number 4 is coming out nicely now. Insert, plug, and plug. That's all she wrote. Like I said, that's pretty simple. An easy check to do. Now, I will warn you, if you do have something that's plugged up, usually compressed air would be my first choice to try to unplug it. But if you stick anything in those oil galleys, be sure it's not going to break off. I've heard horror stories of people, you know, sticking I guess what do you call these, bore cleaners in there, hooking them to a drill and spinning them right off inside there. Well, then you got bigger problems to solve. So yeah, keep cruising, keep shifting those gears, and always enjoy the ride. See you later.